What is a filing status and how do I choose one? When preparing your tax return, you need to pick a filing status. It's one of the first steps you have to take before you even report any income or deductions. In essence, a filing status is what sets the tone for the rest of your tax return. It's primarily based on your marital status and household composition, but when it comes to people you financially support who don't live in your household year-round, filing statuses can get confusing. The 5 filing statuses. Single, the default filing status for unmarried individuals who have no qualifying dependents. Married filing jointly, MFJ. If you are married, you can opt to file the same tax return as your spouse and basically be treated as one taxpayer. Filing jointly can be highly beneficial, but you are not legally obligated to do so. Married filing separately, MFS. If you are married but opt to keep your finances separate, you have the right to file a return separately from your spouse. You'd also use this status if you are going through divorce or separation and it hasn't finalized, or if you are still married and are seeking respite from domestic violence. Head of household. This status is intended for people who are unmarried but have at least one qualifying person for household purposes, and also pay at least half of the household's expenses for the tax year. A qualifying person in this case is usually a dependent child or a parent who you care for, or just support financially. Qualifying widow or widower. If you were married and your spouse died during the tax year in question, you can use qualifying widow status for up to 2 years following their death if you haven't remarried. So if they died in 2017, this is the status to use for both 2017 and 2018, provided that you have a dependent child and you paid more than half of the household expenses. Common filing status mistakes. One of the most common mistakes made when preparing your own taxes is that single parents often file as single instead of head of household. It's not just single parents, though. There are other qualifying people for head of household status, namely qualifying relatives who live with you and can be claimed as a dependent. What makes people miss out on the benefits of head of household status is confusion surrounding who does and doesn't have to live with you. Parents don't have to, but other qualifying relatives like siblings and grandparents do. Married people also often file as single instead of MFS, and unmarried couples who live together in states that don't recognize common law marriage will erroneously use MFJ status. Because qualifying widow status often gets overlooked and is only available to people with a dependent child, people will often use single or head of household status after their spouse's death if they didn't remarry. Qualifying widow status grants most of the same benefits as MFJ. Marriage bonuses and penalties. MFJ is often the most beneficial filing status and MFS the least. But depending on your income level and types of income received, it's best to run your software or ask your tax professional to optimize your tax situation by seeing if you'd benefit more by filing jointly or separately. If one spouse has little or no income, or has a pass-through business that generated a substantial loss, then filing jointly will reap the most benefit. Impacts of selecting the incorrect filing status. In many cases, choosing the wrong filing status results in not getting the full amount of tax benefits you are entitled to, particularly when it comes to using head of household and qualifying widow statuses, which are often overlooked. But for married people who use single or head of household status instead of MFS, there can be penalties imposed. The penalties can also be incredibly steep if you are claiming benefits like the Earned Income Tax Credit, ranging from repaying the credit to being barred from claiming it for up to 10 years.